The year was winding down, and in the little town of Fayetteville, the Sodder home was lit up with the kind of warmth that only comes on Christmas Eve. The kitchen was alive with smells, the trees sparkled, and laughter echoed in every room. George and Jenny Sodder had 10 children. That night, the younger 5 begged their mother to let them stay up a little later. They wanted to enjoy the excitement, to play with toys and look at the lights. Jenny agreed, reminding them to turn off the lights and lock the doors before they came upstairs. Upstairs, some of the older children had already gone to bed, tired from the day. George was asleep too, ready for an early start with his trucking business. Everything felt normal. Nothing suggested the night would end in tragedy and decades of questions. Just after midnight, the telephone rang. Jenny answered. On the line was a woman's voice, someone she didn't recognize. The woman asked for a person whose name Jenny didn't know. Behind the caller, Jenny could hear the sound of glasses clinking and laughter, like a party in full swing. When Jenny told the woman she had the wrong number, the caller laughed strangely and hung up. It unsettled Jenny, but she thought no more of it. She assumed it was simply someone drunk, calling by mistake. She went back to bed, and as she settled under the covers, she heard something heavy hit the roof. It rolled down with a strange sliding sound. For a moment, she thought it might be ice or snow slipping off the shingles. She tried to put it out of her mind. A short while later, Jenny woke again. This time to the smell of smoke. Flames were already licking through George's office downstairs, where he kept his business papers. She screamed for her husband and the children. The house erupted into chaos. George, Jenny, and 4 of the children made it outside. But 5 of the younger ones, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, remained trapped upstairs. George tried desperately to get back inside. The ladder he always kept propped against the side of the house was missing. He ran to his trucks, intending to drive one close and climb on top to reach the children's window. Neither truck would start. Both had worked perfectly the day before. Jenny tried the phone to call for help, but the line was dead. Neighbors rushed to help, but the fire moved too quickly. By the time the fire department arrived hours later, the house was nothing but a smoldering pile of ash. In the daylight, the family searched through the rubble, hoping at least to recover the remains of the children. Nothing was found. Not bones, not teeth. Officials told George and Jenny that the blaze must have been hot enough to destroy all traces, but experts disagreed. In house fires, even intense ones, bones are almost always left behind. The Sodders were left with a new torment. If the children weren't in the ash, where were they? As the family tried to grieve, more strange details emerged. A telephone repairman confirmed that the house's line had been cut, not burned. A neighbor reported seeing someone stealing block and tackle equipment from George's yard, equipment used for trucks, in the days before the fire. Another neighbor claimed to have seen someone watching the Sodder children closely as they returned home from school. George began to wonder if the fire wasn't an accident at all. He remembered that only weeks earlier, an insurance salesman had come to the door. When George refused his offer, the man reportedly said, "Your house will go up in smoke, and your children are going to be destroyed." That same man, George later realized, sat on the coroner's jury that ruled the fire accidental. Then came the sightings. A woman running a motel said she saw the children the very morning after the fire. A waitress claimed she served breakfast to 5 children who looked just like them, accompanied by Italian-speaking adults. A bus driver thought he saw them traveling away from town. The Sodders followed every tip. They clung to hope. Each account painted the same picture. 5 children alive, spirited away in the night. George and Jenny launched a campaign unlike anything the town had seen. They put up billboards across highways with the children's faces and the word "missing." They spent their savings chasing down letters, phone calls, rumors. They hired private investigators who reported back fragments of leads. Years later, a photograph arrived in the mail. It showed a man in his 20s, dark hair, strong features. To the Sodders, he looked just like their missing son Louis might have grown older. On the back, someone had written strange words. Louis Sodder. I love brother Frankie. Lil boys. A 90, 13, 2 or 35. It was cryptic. It was cruel. Or, it was proof. Some insisted it was a simple accident. faulty wiring, 5 children lost, no conspiracy. But the missing bones made that difficult to believe. Others whispered that George's outspoken criticism of Mussolini had earned him enemies. Perhaps someone in the community retaliated, abducting his children. Another theory suggested organized kidnapping, that the children were taken and raised under new identities, hidden from their family forever. The photograph in the mail only fueled this possibility. And then there were those who suspected corruption, the insurance agent's threat, the quick ruling by the coroner, the refusal of officials to investigate further. Jenny never gave up. She wore black for the rest of her life. She tended a flower garden where the house had once stood, each blossom a reminder of the children she refused to bury without proof. George poured his energy into chasing leads, sometimes driving across states when someone claimed to have seen his children. The years turned into decades. The billboards weathered and faded, but the children's faces still stared out at passing cars. The mystery became part of the family's identity, passed down through surviving siblings who continued the search. The Sodder case has never been resolved. No remains were ever conclusively identified. No one was charged. Theories still swirl. Could the fire have been truly accidental? Could the children have been abducted and raised elsewhere? Was the family targeted for George's politics? Even modern forensic experts debate it. Bones don't usually vanish in a house fire. But the lack of hard evidence makes certainty impossible. The Sodders lived with a grief that never softened. Their tragedy reminds us how unanswered questions can be as painful as loss itself. For some, the case is a tale of conspiracy. For others, it's a story of a family who simply could not accept a cruel accident. For George and Jenny, it was heartbreak with no end. The fire may have destroyed the Sodder house, but the mystery still burns. T-Squad, what do you think? Accident, abduction, or something darker? Drop your theory. I'm Kirsty. This is Dropping the True Crime Tea. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.